The fight between Mbappé and the Paraguayan senator got out of control, and now even the UN is involved. Nice.
Who cares what the French feel? What's so hard to understand? They can shove their feelings up their asses.
I told you it had gotten out of control.
France isn't real. Delglis, you all can't seriously believe Europe exists. Europe is a corpse that doesn't know it's dead.
Okay, we'll talk about that journalist later, but where do I start? Please, take a look at the following. Alert, Paraguayan politician Celeste Amarilla has responded to Kylian Mbappé. I would tell him to be careful with Paraguayans. We already put Ronaldinho in prison for corruption. Don't underestimate me. I can take you to court. No. No, I mean, how far did this go? I mean, a simple social media fight, and now they're even threatening Mbappé with putting him in jail. Just imagine the level of craziness. In fact, the UN responded the useless UN because that's what they are, useless. They never do anything, but to defend Kylian Mbappé, they're the first ones. Look, the racist and dehumanizing comments against Kylian Mbappé by the Paraguayan senator Celeste Amarilla are despicable and unfortunately not isolated. States and sports organizations must prevent acts of racism and discrimination and ensure independent and effective accountability. Social media platforms must also prevent and address racial discrimination on their platforms. Look, these people are ridiculous. The ones from the UN are pathetic. Guys, honestly, they're terrible. A few days ago, when the tragic earthquake struck Venezuela, where unfortunately many people have lost their lives. In fact, at the moment, the exact death toll is unknown. It turns out that UN women made a very peculiar post where I remember very well that they said something like, "In this earthquake, please, let's rescue women and girls. Please, let's save them and make them a priority," something like that. And I was like, okay, sure, I understand. We need to prioritize rescuing people who are still alive and trapped under the rubble. That seems valid to me. But why do you leave out the men? As if they don't matter. As if they're not relevant. This is the UN, guys. That's the level of this totally corrupt organization. These good-for-nothings who commonly constantly say no, it's that millionaires are the worst in the world. If they donated their wealth, we would save the world from poverty. Even Elon Musk told them this. Well, I'll donate my wealth, the percentage you mentioned, to save the world from poverty and Africa from poverty, but commit yourselves to saving them. No, and they started making excuses. It's not that simple. Please, I mean, these UN people are ridiculous. They're useless and constantly complain every time Mr. Beast helps people in Africa. What these people do is unbelievable. The UN people are pathetic, they're shameful. Guys, I mean, they do nothing and then they try to help.
Let them read about Mbappé. About Mbappé, please.
Now, the senator has released an open letter to Mbappé.
Mbappé?
A letter that, let me tell you, is brutal. Brutal, it's devastating. But well, we have to start from the beginning, right? Here she says, "Mbappé, the problem is between you and me. I never said anything about France. My issue is with you. I studied at a French school since I was 2 years old, blah, blah, blah. And he tells you how much he loves France and that he has spent his Christmas in France. Nothing against France, Mbappé. The problem is with you," says the senator. "What really made me angry was your arrogance and contempt. Even before the match, you said, if we have to get our hands dirty, then let's do it. We're not stupid. We understood perfectly that the dirt was the Paraguayan team and the Paraguayan team is all of us. Then you said that you're going to take off the tuxedo. We also understood well that you are so elegant that you wear tuxedos, and we, poor and ignorant as we are, don't even really know what that is. Still, all of Paraguay fell silent, even me. We endured it. During the match, you behaved arrogantly. Your contempt for each player was obvious, as if they disgusted you. And without covering your mouth, you said some insulting words, a phrase that's extremely offensive in Latin America, and you know it, that's why you said it." Of course, I totally agree. I mean, Mbappé said that phrase because he knows it. And finally, you ignored our goalkeeper's handshake. That's not something you do. The handshake between rivals after the match is almost sacred, in war and in peace, in defeat and in victory. And you refused to shake his hand and shouted your victory in his face. That's not something you do. You showed your contempt, your arrogance, and your bad manners in a second. It hurt me, and it hurt my whole country a lot. France should call you out for it because it's a country of gentlemen. Well, it was, ma'am, we have to say it. France is no longer France, it's that simple. It's no longer the country it used to be, but well, with centuries of history. France, yes, France should call you out for your behavior. I wrote those posts with my blood boiling. My mixed blood, that beautiful blend of indigenous and Spanish blood running through my veins, was boiling, and that's why I made those posts. When you were still making fun of those amazing Paraguayan players who fought as equals until the end of the match, and that's how I wrote. However, after a while, I regretted having mistreated you with the same insults I receive, because I am also looked down on for being brown-skinned and Latina. They call us Sudaka. I regretted it and deleted the post. I realized I was repeating patterns that I hate and I deleted it. I understand that it bothered you because it's humiliating. Now I demand that you also take back what you said about me and apologize to me, she says. Hold on, because here comes the good part. Hold on. I'm not going to tolerate your violence either. You don't know me. You have no idea who I am either, and you have no right to say that I am a despicable woman, unworthy of the position I hold. I am a Paraguayan senator, elected by the people. Before that, I was a national deputy, also elected by the people. Thousands of Paraguayan men and women voted for me and consider me their voice. My main commitment is to be the voice of the Paraguayan people, to say what they cannot, and to defend my country even with my life. That is what is expected of me. I represent my country because I was elected in free elections. I was freely elected to make its laws and to be its voice. You have no idea what it means to be elected to defend your country, to be the voice of the people. I was elected as a senator. I don't know if you realize the importance of my position, she said. Okay. Who are you to call me unworthy or despicable if you don't even know me? Pure and simple gender-based violence. Political violence. Violence against a woman who got to where she is with the popular vote of her people. Exactly you, showing contempt for womanhood. Exactly you, despising women. I didn't attack your color or your preferences. That was when he brought up Mbappé and his preferences. Let's say that Mbappé was going to be an iconic, legendary player. He was going to win many Champions Leagues, but let's say a lot of obstacles appeared along the way. You know what I'm talking about, right? There were many obstacles along the way. Okay. Don't attack me for being a woman and a politician. Take it back. Live up to your French citizenship. I mean, just imagine, and apologize to me. Otherwise, I may take legal action for gender-based violence. Paraguayan Senator Celeste Amarilla. Okay. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Very honest, because you know I have to say it. To me, Mbappé seems like a terrible guy, okay? They don't call him the dictator for nothing. Not even at Real Madrid do they want him. I mean, just imagine that. He also seems like an extremely hypocritical guy to me, okay? And I don't consider him French either. In fact, I think that woman is right about a lot of things she said. But I don't like this, the whole bio thing, you know what? About gender. Oh, she thinks he said it because she's a woman. But no, Mbappé didn't say it for that reason. Let's be honest. That's not why. We all know the truth. Okay? That's the reality. And in fact, this kind of law, the one about gender-based political violence, for me is a law or something that shouldn't even exist as such. Because commonly, feminists and those kinds of people in politics use it to play the victim card. So that they can't be criticized. Yeah, it's very common and exactly the same thing is happening here. That's the reality, guys. We're not going to deny it. It's the harsh reality. That's why, personally, this last thing is something I don't support. I don't support it under any circumstances. But listen, in everything else I support the senator. I'm very, very much in favor. I support her in everything except this last thing. Here, no, I don't agree with her. Now, it turns out that a journalist... he went all out against the French, against the government of France and all that. Please, let's listen to this gentleman.
What is being done with the rhetoric of xenophobia and the like is a fascist grab for power. What the bandits of the European Union, FIFA, and the World Economic Forum are imposing is censorship. And you, who are accomplices of globalism, are trying to make us normalize censorship. There are some of us who are not idiots, and there are some of us who are not on anyone's side. We stand for principles. And the principle is established in Article 26 of the Paraguayan Constitution, which says that all Paraguayans can say whatever we want, even if it makes the president of France angry, who is trash. And if that causes them displeasure and creates a diplomatic problem, well, they can go to hell. Let them close their embassy, it's no big deal. It's not a big deal, but I don't care at all about what the French feel. What don't you get about that? They can shove their feelings up their ass. What we feel is what matters. Why should I care what the French feel? No. What government are we? We're the colonial government of France. But we're not France, it doesn't exist. You guys are the only ones who think Europe exists. Europe is a corpse that doesn't know it's dead.
I agree with that last part. Europe is finished. But there are still a lot of people in Latin America who say, no, Europe, the principles of Europe. What principles? Europe doesn't exist anymore. Exactly.
Germany lost 21% of its industrial production in the last 5 years. What are you talking about? France can send us a frigate to the Gulf of Hormuz. That's about it. To the Strait of Hormuz. But Europe is a dictatorship. There's censorship in Europe. And do you think we should normalize censorship here? No.
That last part was very based. What that man said isn't a lie. But anyway, I'd like to know what you think and what your opinion is about everything that's happening in Paraguay. It's total madness. I think this still looks like it's going to go even further because, well, they've already told Mbappé that they want to put him in jail. I mean, just like Ronaldinho. I mean, if we put Ronaldinho in jail, you'll go to jail too, Kylian Mbappé. What's happening in Paraguay is incredible. I'll read your comments and see you next time.